Good evening, everyone. I hope y'all are doing well and staying warm. We have a winter storm that could potentially impact portions of the southeast and really the eastern U.S. as a whole this weekend. So we'll start off here with the 18Z GFS weather model. And so we'll go to about this Friday afternoon on the 30th. And as you can see, we have some energy up here into Kentucky, West Virginia, North Carolina, Tennessee. And so this is going to be our uh, potential snowstorm here. So as we go further into Friday evening, you start to see even more snow start to pop up. And then as we get into late Friday night and early Saturday morning, it starts to really intensify and more snow begins to fall potentially across the southeast into the mid-Atlantic. As we go into midday Saturday, we have some pretty heavy snow falling here across the Carolinas, especially into Virginia, Maryland, even into Delaware as we get into Saturday evening. We go further into Sunday morning, and this continues to dump some snow here into eastern North Carolina, Virginia, Maryland, Delaware, New Jersey, up into southern New England as well. As we get to midday Sunday, this finally starts to move on out, and once again, brings probably some gusty winds, especially along the East Coast, if this low pressure gets as strong as the GFS is showing, along with that heavy snow along the eastern seaboard. So that's the latest GFS. Now let's take a look at the latest European model from this morning. So if we take a look at it, we'll back this up here. We'll go to Wednesday, and then we go into Thursday, go into Friday. You kind of start to see that dip in the jet stream here. Here's our kind of our trough right here, starting to move in. And so the latest European has been a little bit weaker just because the two pieces of energy, the upper trough and kind of the southern stream energy, doesn't really form and really interact as quick as the GFS does. And we'll look at that a little bit more later, but it still brings some heavy snow into eastern North Carolina, the Outer Banks, and then wants to move that on out and really not affect much of the eastern seaboard up into southern New England too much, and then finally moves it on out as we go into Monday morning. But if we back this up a little bit and take a little bit closer look at this, it still wants to bring that at least light to moderate snow into the central Carolinas and then into the eastern Carolinas by Saturday evening, and then into Sunday morning it once again eventually just moves on out. So that's the latest European, and so we have had some ticks kind of back and forth here. The run from last night was a little bit stronger, and then if we even look at the run from yesterday morning, it showed a little bit stronger widespread snow event across these areas. And if we even look a little bit further into Sunday night's run, we have a much stronger storm system showing up on that, and it delivers more snow to those areas. But we'll still continue to watch this and see how this plays out. I just thought I would show you all the latest shifts in the European weather model. So now we'll take a look at the AI GFS model. Here we'll go back a little bit further. So we'll go to Friday evening and then into early Saturday morning. Shows that snow popping up there, even some snow out here into the Atlantic, and then it finally shows that snow getting going across the Carolinas, even into Georgia by Saturday evening. Then it gets that going up kind of near the eastern seaboard and delivers some snow even into Virginia, North Carolina, and kind of into southern New England. And then it finally starts to move on up and delivers some snow potentially into Maine. And that's the latest AI GFS model. Finally, we'll take a look at the European AI model. We'll back this up once again just a little bit. So as we get to about midday Friday, then finally into Friday evening, then Friday night, you start to see some snow there into Kentucky, into Virginia, into North Carolina, Tennessee. Then as we go into Saturday midday, Saturday evening, you see a pretty strong band of heavy snow getting into the Carolinas, even into Georgia on the European AI model. We go into early Sunday morning, finally gets this up along, moving to kind of the northeast. Still have some heavy snow right along the eastern seaboard, and then that also delivers some snow into southern New England, then eventually into Maine, and then it finally starts to move on out by Monday night. Now we're going to take a look at the ensembles, and this pretty much gives us an idea of where the strongest snow signal is so far. And this is the 12Z run from this morning on the EPS ensembles, and it still shows a 1 to 2 inch snowfall mean here into the Carolinas, and then even into Virginia as well, and then even into eastern North Carolina shows a 5-6 inch snowfall mean. And as we get into Massachusetts, shows a stronger snowfall mean there, and then into really near Maine, and then up along the eastern seaboard once again. But still, don't get too hung up on the exact snowfall totals here. This will just pretty much give us an idea of where the strongest signal is right now. Plenty of snow could fall anywhere in these regions up along the east coast. So now we'll take a look at the GFS ensembles, and it should be still running here. We probably don't have the full run quite yet. We have 120 hours out, which is okay. But as you can see, it's a lot more aggressive compared to the EPS ensembles. It shows snow farther to the west and also shows a pretty large footprint of snow here into Virginia and North Carolina, and then into South Carolina as well, even into West Virginia, eastern Kentucky, portions of the Mid-Atlantic, and then southern New England, especially into Massachusetts as well. So it is definitely more aggressive with this, but still don't get too hung up on these snowfall totals. They could easily increase or decrease from tonight into tomorrow. So we'll continue to watch the ensembles and see how this progresses, but I still think we could have a pretty significant area of snow falling into at least northeastern North Carolina and southeastern Virginia. So what does this system look like in the upper levels, and what are the differences between the GFS and European models? So first we'll take a look at the GFS, and as we go into Wednesday into Thursday, we go into about midday Thursday. Here's our energy slowly diving down in the middle of your screen through Oklahoma and Arkansas. And so let me make sure this is the latest. We'll go to the 18Z. Let's see if we have it. Okay, we do. We have it. So we'll take a look here as you get into Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee. You have that energy slowly diving down, and then that kind of fizzles on up, and then here's our main upper trough that's going to kind of interact with some of this energy down further to the south. So it finally starts to dig down here as we get into Friday night, into Saturday, and then it starts to finally eject over the Carolinas, and then kind of off the southeast coastline up into the northeast. So as you can see, it definitely dives down and starts to eject and strengthen a little bit quicker, and that allows for more heavy snow to fall across some of these areas into the eastern US, and then it finally gets on out of here by Monday. So let's compare that to the European weather model as well. So this is the 12Z run from this morning, same as we used just earlier. And so as you can see, here's our main energy diving down, and it's a little bit further to the east, but it doesn't exactly really merge or interact with that southern energy as strong as the GFS shows. It finally does interact with it, but by the time it fully kind of starts to eject, it's off the coast of the southeast and really right off the coast of the Mid-Atlantic, just east of those areas. And then it finally starts to move on up to the northeast, but doesn't get all that moisture wrapped into it like the GFS does, and then finally gets it on up out of here. So that's kind of the main differences. We'll have to continue to watch over the next few days, but I do think we'll get some more consistency and higher confidence between the ensembles and especially the global models as we get closer towards really Thursday and especially into Friday. Now taking a look at the winter weather outlook issued by the Weather Prediction Center. And so what this is basically kind of a graphic that tells us where the confidence is highest that an area could see a 1/4 inch or higher of sleet or snow. And so right now they have the area that could have the highest potential into northeastern North Carolina and southeastern Virginia in that blue color there, and that has a 50 to 70% chance to receive a 1/4 inch of snow or sleet or higher. So the areas outside of that in that dark green color, that is a 30 to 50% chance, and then the light green color, that's a 10 to 30% chance all the way from Maine down into South Carolina. Then as we go into day 6 on Monday, February 2nd, we have that area of blue into Maine, and then the area in green, dark green, from really New Jersey all the way up once again to Maine, and then that area of light green all the way down still into southeastern Virginia, into eastern North Carolina as well. And that is the latest we have from the Weather Prediction Center for their winter weather outlook. Now taking a look at the probability of at least minor winter weather impacts. And so this is for Saturday through Sunday on day 4. And so they have the area that has the highest confidence of seeing at least minor winter weather impacts into the eastern Carolinas and even into small section of Georgia as well, up into Virginia. And so the other areas outside of that, in the yellow, that's about a 40 to 50% chance, and that red is a 60, 70, and even 80% chance in some areas. So that's where they have the highest confidence right now. And so if we take a look at the day 5 outlook, and this is for February 1st into the 2nd, that Sunday, into the Monday, and so they still have a large area right here of red, and that is at least a 50, 60, some areas saying 70% chance of at least minor winter weather impacts. And that yellow area extends all the way up into Maine, really from South Carolina, Georgia up to Maine there, up along the eastern seaboard. We go to day 6, and that continues up into the northeast there as well, with at least maybe a 50-60% chance in some areas. We go to day 7, and that finally dissipates there, as that storm system will move out by then. Lastly, we'll look at the National Weather Service's graphic here, and this was issued at 3:35 p.m. today. And so this basically just highlights the fact that the extreme cold will hang around for much of these areas that could potentially receive some snow. So really, the areas that do receive just a little bit of snow could have that snow stick pretty easily to roads, and that could ultimately lead up to pretty hazardous road conditions with the areas that have received prolonged exposure to the cold. So feel free to pause the video and read this. I won't be reading it. But that'll close off today's forecast. I appreciate all of y'all tuning in, and I hope y'all have a great Tuesday evening.